So good to be with everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. So we're going to start a three-part series today on willpower. And please feel free to, chat anything in, questions, comments, curiosities, any of that, anything you want to share. So, but we're going to go into this, a three-part series, and today we'll kind of set the foundation for it. And it's really about understanding what willpower is and what it isn't. That's what we're going to cover today. And then we get into parts two and three. We'll talk more about strategy and about how we shape our view of things so that we can navigate experiences and our challenges and our goals by using our willpower. And so we're going to start to talk about what it is and what it isn't today. So according to most psychological scientists, is that willpower can be defined as the ability to delay gratification. I think that's really an interesting way to say it. To delay gratification by resisting short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. I think I searched all over the place for a really good understanding of that, but the resisting of short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals, the capacity to override an unwanted thought, feeling, or impulse. And I think that really sums it up well. And so why is our willpower important? Why is it important for us to develop it? And the reason being is that it gives us the ability to stay on track and meet our goals, right? It gives us the ability to focus without bouncing around to the next distraction or next shiny object. But here's what it's not, okay? It's not grinding it out. I think there's like a misconception with willpower, right? I think a lot of times people will look at willpower and they'll say, yeah, I just got to tough it out, right? Now there's always a little part of that, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. There's always a little part of that, about having the discipline to be able to do that. But psychologically, okay, your mind will give out before your body. You ask any athlete, whether they're marathon runners, endurance, extreme marathon runners, just regular athletes, right? But your mind will give out, okay, before your body. So it's more important that we train our minds first before we train our bodies. And so, willpower isn't about grinding it out. And I think it's important that we kind of come to that understanding early in this process, okay? Because if you're constantly having to grind it out all the time, okay, your mind will give out before your body. That's almost a guarantee. So we really want to be the architects of our own strategies around what will allow us to move through things, okay? Maybe a little bit of toughing it out, but maybe that's only 10% of it, and 90% is really how we've conditioned ourselves mentally. And it's also about doing the work, though, okay? So conditioning ourselves, mentally is about doing the work, okay? And that's become a pretty popular expression nowadays about you got to do the work. And that's what this is about, okay? Learning how to do the work a little bit at a time so it has a cumulative effect. And when we do the work, we build neural pathways, okay? And we shift. So and we've talked about this before, but it's foundational to really anything we want to do, is that all things that we do have developed through a neural pathway. The more we do one thing, right, the stronger the pathway is. Now, our neural pathways don't know what is in our best interest and what's not in our best interest. They just do their thing, okay? And I think we've talked about this before, right? The average person has somewhere between 60 and 80 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are the same as the day before. So you're constantly building neural pathways, and even against things that are in our best interest. So, if after dinner, you've gotten used to having dessert, but you want to drop a few pounds, or you want to cut down your sugar intake, wherever the case may be. Well, if you've done that for 3 or 4 weeks, if you've had dessert for 3 or 4 weeks, okay, after dinner, right, which is probably longer than that, might even be a lifetime habit, then it's going to take you a while to dissolve it, because those neural pathways, those connections are very, very strong. So the more we do one thing, okay, the stronger our neural pathways are. And our neural pathways, they're non-judgmental. They don't say, you might not want to do that. Okay, they don't know that. All they know is what they're being instructed to do. So part of the not grinding it out process and doing the work is giving ourselves time to build new neural pathways. And I always liked this. I grew up as an athlete. You guys know that. And I was always taught that you play how you practice. So come game day, okay, game day only matters, okay? How you play the game, all right, will be predicated on how you practiced. Game day doesn't matter much, okay? Practice matters, right? And for me, I used to love practice. Game day, I was like, okay, whatever. I used to love practice. I still do, right? And practicing things. And so every day for us, if we're looking to change a habit, okay, well, game day is when we make that decision point about, am I going to do it or not? Okay. Practice are all those little moments up to it where we've made alternative decisions, okay, and where we've conditioned our thinking. And we'll talk about that from a visioning perspective next week, because part of how we build our resiliency and our new pathways is around the new story we tell ourselves. So we'll talk about that next week. But think about it in terms of this, right? We play how we practice, right? And every day for us is game day. Every decision we make, every decision we want to change, okay, is game day. And I'm just going to leave you with this. We got one more slide. So I have this rule that I developed a while ago, somewhat maybe more out of self-preservation, that I try not to do anything that'll make me feel good for 15 minutes or less. And for me, I had an energetic youth. And so that helped me avoid, not everything, but it helped me avoid a few things. And so kind of think about that for a minute, right? Like if I'm gonna just keep picking on dessert. Now dessert, right? Dessert doesn't take 15 minutes. Dessert might take, a few minutes, okay? But think about it in terms of, let's say dessert takes 5 minutes. So I'm gonna get 5 minutes of pleasure, okay? But then I've got to live the rest of the day with what I didn't want, okay? Or if I could avoid that 5 minutes, I could live the rest of the day with what I do want, right? And so kind of think about it in those terms, and we'll come up with some strategies next week. So it's a skill. Our willpower is a skill that we develop, okay? We're not really born with it. Now, some people are born with a little more willpower than others, okay? I think that's a fair statement, but generally it's something that we develop. And no matter how strong you are as an individual, there are going to be things. There are going to be things you're going to have weaknesses to. Some people it could be alcohol, some people it could be sweets, some people it could just be lying on the couch. I mean, it could be anything. So it is a skill that we develop. So for this week, okay, I want you to bring this into your awareness. So this week, find 3 things that you would like to avoid doing or start doing. Okay, it could be one or the other, could be both. Okay, what are 3 things that you want to avoid doing or you want to start doing? Okay, write them down. Okay, don't make 10, just make 3. Okay, and right before you choose to do or not to do whatever it is, okay, I want you to pause for 30 seconds and think about it. Just pause and think about it, okay? Don't concern yourself with the outcome though. I want you to just pause and think about it, because now you're training your brain to look before you leap, okay? You're training your brain to pause, right? And then make your choice. And don't worry about the choice, okay? Don't worry about the choice. but you want to be training your brain, because after a while, we do things enough where the body becomes the mind, where that the chemicals that we get, the endorphins and all that get injected into our system, okay, by making certain decisions, right? Whether it's, again, having dessert, or, having an extra glass of wine at night, or, just, couch potatoing it, maybe longer than you should, or whatever the case may be, right? um, your body gets used to that, and then your body tells your mind, hey, wait a minute, hey, I need some more of those chemicals, by the way, right? And then all of a sudden you're kind of back into that habit. So what you want to do is, just teach yourself to pause. If you can teach yourself to pause, then that's the beginning of starting to set yourself up, where that you can start to insert, you can start to, in that 30-second window, you can start to drop in the new vision for what you want. Okay, look at it a little bit like a placeholder. And then we'll get into specific strategies next week. So let me see if there's any chats. I don't see any. But if you want to shoot me an email or a text, during the week about, if there's anything specifically about this that you'd like to get into, I'd certainly like to hear from you. For those of you who don't have my cell number, I think most of you do, but my cell is 603-321-7132. And always happy to hear from everybody. Yeah, Lucian, problem is I'd rather skip the meal than a dessert. Yeah. I mean, look, we all got it, yeah. Hey, look, I like red wine, but if I order a glass of wine, I also get a glass of water. Just you just come up with strategies, so, and then I always remind myself about when I got to go to the gym the next morning, how much better my workout's going to be, if I just have one glass of wine versus two. And that's that process of taking that time to pause and then dropping in a different vision. So, all right, well, looks like that's all we got for this morning. So good to be with everybody, and hope everybody has a great week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next Monday. We'll start working on some strategies as it relates to how we develop our willpower and how we change our thinking around it. Okay, take care.